Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us here today. My name is Kayla Soriano, and I am the Engineering Admissions Coordinator at the School of Engineering. We are very lucky to have here today two Master of Design program faculty and two current Master of Design program students. So we will get into introductions shortly. First, I want to acknowledge the land on which our campus is built. So I respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we work, learn, connect, and innovate is the unceded ancestral and traditional territory of the Syilx Okanagan Nation and their peoples. Today, we continue a tradition that runs far deeper than design as a discipline, the practice of observing land, materials, and community closely and building knowledge through making. That practice belongs first to the people who have lived on and stewarded this land for thousands of years. I would also like to acknowledge that you are joining us today from many places near and far and acknowledge the traditional owners and caretakers of those lands. I just want to go over some Zoom housekeeping really quickly. A few notes before we dive into today's session. A reminder that there are some functions here to help customize the way you are experiencing this webinar today. If you are having any audio or video issues, you can adjust these through the settings below. If you're experiencing issues, please let us know and we can try to help you troubleshoot. The session is designed for you, so please feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A box. I ask that you please submit your question once so that we have an opportunity to get to it. We have many attendees, so also upvote the questions that you would like answered to move it to the top of the list. We have lots of links available in the Resources tab, which you can access at the bottom of your screen. When clicking on the link, it will give you a warning that you are leaving Zoom, but it will open links in a new tab, so don't worry, you will not leave Zoom. Feel free to open as many links as you would like, or just save them for later. Closed captioning is enabled. You can enable this by clicking on the closed captioning button at the bottom. And finally, if you're not able to stay with us for the entire session, a recording of this session will be shared on our YouTube channel in a few days. All right, so who will you meet today? Today we are joined by Master of Design Program faculty and students. I'll first pass it off to our faculty members, Ken Chow and Myron Campbell.
Sounds good. Yep. Happy to meet everybody. Welcome. I'm an associate professor at the School of Engineering. I'm also an associate director of innovation at the School of Engineering. So I'll pass it off to Myron.
Hi all, thanks Ken. My name is Myron Campbell. I'm an artist and communication designer. I'm also an associate prof in creative studies, teaching primarily in the BFA when I'm not with the Master of Design.
Thank you both. I'd now like to introduce everyone to our current MDes students. Clara, do you want to go first?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, my name's Clara. I'm originally from Calgary, but I joined MDes this year and it's been awesome so far.
Hi, I'm Shayna. Before coming to the program, I was working as a UX designer in Singapore's government digital services. Yeah.
Thank you both. We look forward to hearing all your perspectives today. So moving on, I'm going to pass it over to Ken to talk a bit more about our program.
Yeah, of course. And what's super exciting is that this time last year I was hosting these sessions, but I was by myself. So this year I'm bringing friends, which is awesome. So please feel free to chime in, Myron, Clara, Shayna, as I work through these slides. So first of all, big question all you have, what is this program? And I really want to start off with kind of our take on the world. I think right now there's no shortage of technical experts and creative thinkers, but I think what's missing are the people who can bridge these worlds. And what we're finding is that the challenges we're facing today, even in our community in the Okanagan, whether it's in healthcare, sustainability, AI, education, government, they don't fit into one discipline. And they increasingly require people who can bridge engineering, business, design, policy, and ultimately the human experience. So this is why the Master of Design was created. What's cool about it? It's intense. It's a 12-month full-time cohort-based professional master's program. It is jointly offered by the Faculty of Applied Science and the Faculty of Creative and Critical Studies, as represented by my presence here and Myron's presence. You got an engineer and an artist co-presenting this program. What's cool is that throughout the year, you're going to work on real problems alongside industry, community organizations, entrepreneurs, and public sector partners. These are not just passive program participants, they're our friends. Myra and I have been here for a long time. We've met a lot of people, a lot of amazing people in the community, and a lot of them have stepped up to really be part of this program. So what you're going to see, what you're going to experience in this program are real conversations, and you're not really going to see you're not going to see a lot of hypothetical classroom exercises. I want to emphasize one thing. One of the strengths of this program is the diversity of the cohort. We are intentionally bringing together students from engineering, computer science, business, arts, design. Clara's from communications, has a communications background. Shayna has a UX background. We have folks from education. Why? Because we believe that diversity, having different ways of thinking come together, actually leads to innovation. So one of the things I can promise is that your classmates will become one of your greatest learning resources. So, Byron, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, that was really well put. I mean, the only other thing I could say is like there's a lot of synergy between the two areas that Ken mentioned. Like myself being an artist, Ken being in engineering, like we're working together to deliver the program together. You're not siloed off into courses. There's tons of synergy all throughout.
Totally agree. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to move on to the program cornerstone. Kayla, would you be able to advance the slide? Oh, I see it now. Sorry, I couldn't find the button. Oh, okay. Um, so when this program launched about 6 months ago, Myron, myself, all the other faculty with the program, we met for coffee and we started thinking about, what are the principles that we want to build this program around? We had a clean slate. And we really distilled down 7 principles that we all would commit to as we individually made decisions about the design of the program. And these are the guiding principles that we have used. So the first is real problems, real stakes. So we don't want students completing hypothetical assignments. We want them working on challenges that actually matter to organizations and communities. Number 2, learning before optimization. So we care more about how the students learn than how quickly students arrive at an answer. This also means that we understand that design is an iterative discipline. So, and through those iterations, that's how we learn. The third is that students are professionals. So from day one, we treat students as emerging professionals rather than passive learners. So what that means that we expect students to exhibit ownership, responsibility, and we hold them to high expectations as we would with any professional. The fourth is that faculty are coaches. And I think this is really a big differentiator in the program. Myron and I, we aren't here simply to lecture. We really do lean into an identity as a coach. What that means is we're looking at whole person development. We challenge assumptions, we ask questions, we help students grow through reflection and feedback. The fifth, super important for a program like this, is that psychological safety enables risk. So if we truly profess to be innovative, then we know that that requires experimentation. And we know that people only take meaningful risks when they feel safe enough to try, fail, learn, and try again. So we really try to create an environment that's more formative rather than evaluative. The sixth is mutual commitment. This program is intense. It's only 1 year, and the experiences we go through, there's a lot of shared experiences. There's a lot of reflection. There's a lot of diversity of experiences. We believe that faculty have to invest deeply in students, and students invest deeply in one another. And that reciprocity across faculty and students creates a really, first of all, tight community and also an intense learning experience. And finally, the seventh principle is that design is not just a certain practice. It's not just a certain area of design. It's actually a way of thinking, doing, and actually being. So ultimately, we don't view design as a toolkit. We really view it more as a mindset that shapes how you understand problems, how you work with others, and ultimately how you create change both in yourself and your community. Yeah, anything to add, Myron? You were there
No,
with me.
that's great.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Okay. Clara, Shayna, you're cool with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So who are the ideal applicants? Well, it's awesome that we have Claire and Shayna here because they were the first two applicants that we admitted into the program. It's just coincidental. Um, so really, when I think about the ideal MDes applicant, we want an emerging design thinker, and how we assess that is a few things. When we look at your application package, we are looking at curiosity. Like, are you naturally drawn to difficult questions? Right? And that might show up. I know in Clara, your case, it showed up as, you ran a company on the side of your degree, and it's like, wow, well, that's just you're just bursting with energy. Or with Shayna, your all your hobbies were so interesting in your application. It just popped out that you were curious about so many things, which was awesome, and it shows in the interactions we have with you. The second is, are you a maker? Like, have you built things? Have you started initiatives? Have you tested ideas? Are you clearly somebody who learns through doing, right? If we see somebody who's just kind of a textbook straight A student, but really hasn't done much and has learned, really just in the classroom setting, I don't think the Master of Design is a great fit for such an applicant, right? We're really looking for people who, in my words, kind of burst out of their past learning experiences, right? And finally, does your application package tell us that you're reflective? Can you look at your work and assess, what worked, what didn't, what would you change? So these qualities, so the curiosity, the making, the reflectiveness, these qualities matter really much more than whether you call yourself an engineer, a designer, entrepreneur, or an artist. It's really what we try to look for. So yeah, anything to add, Martin?
Well, only that I'm very excited about our student representation today because we have someone who has recently completed their undergrad with Clara and someone who's out in the workforce and let the curiosity draw her in with Shayna to come to this program. Excuse me. It makes me just very aware that there's a place for both types of students in this program, that there's something to offer if you're a fresh undergrad. There's something to offer, of course, if you're in the workforce for a while, and to see that, and I can't wait to actually hear from the students to talk about what that does to the classroom culture, like to the culture of the program, um, with that dynamic, because I'm seeing it firsthand being quite refreshing and surprising in a very positive way.
That is so true. I remember when we were meeting before the program launched, and we're
Hmm.
like, oh my God, there's like people with 20 years of experience, and there's freshly graduated undergrads coming into this program.
Hmm.
How are we going to offer a program that fits such a diversity of experience? And I feel what we've done is we've just cultivated conditions where the cohort actually kind of starts naturally learning from each other. I can see that our more junior designers are learning a ton from interacting with our more experienced designers. But I can also see our more experienced designers remembering the enthusiasm of entering their career and feeling excitement and feeling like the sense of joy again. So I see this renewal in a lot of our more experienced designers, which is really delightful. And actually, to be honest, and Myron, I think you and I can keep it real here. There's a renewal in us.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe that? That's like so hard to describe.
Well, it like how I've been describing it to colleagues when they ask about how is it going with the MDes. It's uh it's like I already really loved my job, but I've started a new job within my job, and it is all new. It is all fresh. There's so much agency within the student body to help us all guide the ship together. That part of it is exciting. You know, it's leaping into the unknown a bit, but the ability for us to create something new and strong together, meeting the needs of what a designer really desires today. Um, it's just that part is the best. Like being able to build this all together. It's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my, 14 years at the school.
Yeah, I echo that. I echo that. It's whenever people ask me how it's going, there's always immediately a smile because I'm really there's a lot of joy I get from seeing this thing emerge, and then yeah, seeing the relationships for me has been really gratifying.
Hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, great. And Myron, we got to leave time for Shane and Clara to talk. So
Yeah,
let's.
exactly. Like I'm tired of my voice.
Okay. This slide I have to provide, but I mean, yeah, you're going to see all the courses, you're going to see all the credits. But what we've done as a faculty team is we've intentionally tried to deliver this as a single program, not as individual courses. I'm just going to give you a high level of your experience over the 12 months in terms of the four terms, summer one, summer two, and then fall and winter terms. Summer one, we begin with foundations. We learn design thinking, participatory research, innovation methods, entrepreneurship while working closely as a cohort. We have a ton of shared experiences, field trips, all that sort. The goal is to really build the culture and determine as a group how we want to operate. Summer two, you move more into advanced concepts. You're going to be prototyping. You're going to be making. I know Myron, you can talk a lot about what you're making. They're in summer two right now, so they're now translating their ideas into more complete concepts and sometimes prototypes. And then in fall and winter, that's where the majority of time is spent in studio. Students are going to apply everything they learned to a substantial design project. Each student will lead a project. They will also be supporters of two projects. So we expect students will leave this program working on at least three projects. So that's a significant boost, hopefully, to everybody's portfolio. One thing we're excited about, we're doing a cohort field trip this year to Copenhagen to visit one of the design meccas of the world, which I think we're all really excited about. And finally, at the very end of winter term, we conclude with a public showcase. And this is where the students present to their community the work that they've done. And by the way, Myron hinted at co-creation, and this showcase is something the students are designing themselves. And it's great because Clara is our student ambassador in marketing, and I'm sure she'll play a role in a leading role in designing that. So maybe she can reflect more on what she expects out of that process. So yeah, like I said, I'm showing you the courses here, but the students really experience this program as one integrated journey. The faculty work closely together. We're a team. We are a faculty coaching team. I love what you said, Myron. We have a hive mind, so that, we're aware of each other, what we're doing, what we're talking about. So we're able to deliver kind of a seamless year-long experience. And so you won't be experiencing the program as disconnected courses. Okay. Finally, I think this is the last part where we're talking, Myron, the experience. So I just want to talk a little bit about what students do in this program, and I'm sharing a few images from summer one, which will give you a sense of what we believe we want to deliver to the students. We want to make the community our classroom. I've said that from day one, that we're going to make the community our classroom. And that means that we are going out on field trips. We're going to be visiting all the cities in the Okanagan. We're going to be learning intentionally off campus. We're going to be learning, a lot of time is spent at a beautiful Woodhaven cabin, which is set in nature and provides a totally different backdrop for learning. We participate in local entrepreneurship events. When we invite speakers to come visit us at our cabin, we go on long reflection walks where we share stories. Share stories. Students work on storytelling. They work on the art of conversation. They learn from one another. They critique one another. They they look at the challenges, the real challenges of our communities. There's no packaged, clean design brief in this. There's messiness, there's ambiguity, but there's also just a lot of real experiences. And what's cool is that we have these shared experiences, but then every student has their own reflection practice. So it's been really gratifying to see how the students are reflecting on their shared experiences and learning from all these experiences and growing not just as designers, but I really hope growing as people, which is really what we really deep down inside want from this program. We want people to grow as humans. I love the title of this session. It's called Designing Your Future. I believe that we are giving students the tools to design their future, define what success looks like for them, define how they know that they're growing in the dimensions they want to grow, uh, find problems that resonate with them, that mean something to them, care about the Okanagan. A lot of our students have developed hobbies in the Okanagan. They're engaged in the community. There's freedom and space in the program for them to, have evenings and weekends to care, to love this place. And when you do love the place you're in, the quality of your design naturally increases. And so, what we've tried to do is we've tried to cultivate conditions where the students design from love, love for the cohort, love for this program, love for the community, love for the place that we're in, so that the products of the design have a greater chance of really deeply impacting people. Yeah. So, Myron, anything you want to add to the experience?
Well, just alongside these amazing experiences that you just described that really enrich the program, there's training. Training in the wood in our wood shop, our metal shop. We have laser cutters, plasma cutters. Yesterday, Yanji, one of our students, was working with one of our techs to cut metal out of the plasma cutter and started to bend it and weld it together for a prototype. We got Asana creating clay tiles in the sculpture room. There's 3D printers, there's workshops that you have access to create as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I think this is it for us, which is great because we can
Yeah.
hand the floor off. We can hand the floor off. Oh, wait. One final one. What are the potential outcomes? And here, I really think it's better to allow Clara and Shayna to maybe talk about what outcomes they're thinking of. But I know everybody who's attending today. I know you want this program to help you grow. You want to help it introduce you to new opportunities. I really do believe we're building leadership capacity in every single one of the students. I can see it. They're growing as leaders. They're finding their voice. They're understanding what it takes to build a community, build a culture. And these sort of people are so valuable in an organization. I've been fortunate enough to be part of many organizations, and the people who have that, it's a combination of both a humanistic understanding, but also a strategic mind combined with relational intelligence. But these sort of people, they inevitably become leaders. Usually not by title first. Usually it's by their actions first, and then the titles will follow. But yeah, I really do believe we're building future design leaders. And where might future design leaders find themselves? They could be product managers, they could be design directors. One of our students was a creative design director for 20 years, and she's learning a ton in this program. They can become design leads, strategists, directors of product, hopefully CEO, Clara, maybe a CEO. Yeah, yeah, you're going to be a CEO for sure. Founder and
Yes.
CEO. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think design leader, strategic leader. These are the sort of folks that we want our alumni to be. And maybe one thing I'll add is that, when you join, I told the first cohort they were super lucky because they get to write the DNA of the program, and indeed they have written the DNA of this program and are writing it as we speak. But what we've spent a lot of time talking about is the connection between cohorts and how important that is. And I think when you join the Master Design now as the second cohort, I think you can be really excited to be connected with the first cohort. And this first cohort, they're already thinking about ways to be connected with the second cohort. So yeah, I love that the community is extending in multiple dimensions, and I think being part of such a powerful network with and honestly, in this first cohort, we couldn't have been luckier with the people that we've attracted. But there are stars in this cohort, and I think to be connected with such talent, it will inevitably open up opportunities. So. Super excited for where this group might go. Anything to add, Myron?
Um, that I just really liked how you described looking inward and finding your own voice as a designer. There's a lot of personal growth that happens in the program of like really discovering yourself as a designer. But I'll stop and I'll just kind of want to leave room for the students to speak to that.
Can I say something about this really quickly?
For sure, for
I
sure.
think that yes, like these are like always opportunities for someone who comes out with a master's of design. But I think in today's world, like you have like the entire world to yourself. Like I meet new people every single day that have like a background in psychology, but are, I don't know, working for a tech firm. So I wouldn't like if something in this box doesn't necessarily represent you, I wouldn't shy away from the program whatsoever. I think that the program develops you in so many different ways, wholeheartedly that it ultimately would let you pursue any form of um, role.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, Shayna, anything you want to add?
I think for sure, right? Because like design is a way of seeing, a way of like doing what you mentioned. And it's so it doesn't matter what field you are in or what specific role you want to do, because you can bring this in and bring yeah, this way of thinking and doing and being wherever you go. So exactly what Clara said.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you both. I'm going to pass it off to you, Kayla, I think, to cover admissions.
Thank you so much. That was great. All right, so I'm going to get into admissions now, and I'll try to go through it quickly so we have time to answer everyone's questions. So the Master of Design program is an interdisciplinary program, and because of that, the requirements for admission are academically diverse. Each applicant should have a bachelor's degree with a GPA matching a UBC 76%. If you have taken your credentials internationally, we have an international equivalency manual that can give you an idea of how the scales match up. Some types of degrees that we would encourage are those in engineering, technical, business, and creative backgrounds, but this list is not exhaustive, so please don't limit yourself if you have something different. Applicants must meet an English proficiency standard. Every application will ask for proof of English language proficiency. This requirement will be removed if you can prove that the language of instruction for your program was in English. Otherwise, you will need to upload a test proving your proficiency. A list of the tests that are accepted are on the College of Graduate Studies website, and that link is included in our resources tab at the bottom of your screen. We recommend giving yourself time to get sufficient scores for your application, as the minimums in all categories must be met. There are also some program-specific requirements. So we have the statement of interest, which is required. This is basically your elevator pitch. Use this time to tell the admissions committee why you want to be in this program. What do you think you can get out of it? What do you think you can bring to it? And how do you think being involved in this group will improve your life and that of your community? Be honest, open, and unafraid to share your story and future goals. A professional portfolio or a description of projects completed is an optional requirement, but it is very helpful for the committee to see what the work you have done is and how you will fit into the group. And finally, for referees, at the time of submitting your application, you do not need to provide them. However, please make sure you have contacted a couple of trusted mentors who could speak on your passion and skills if the committee seeks to know more about you. All right, so what does a complete application include? Firstly, you will need to pay the application fee. This fee varies in cost based on what kind of applicant you are, domestic or international, but both are under 200 Canadian. A copy of your most recent CV or resume, your transcripts. For the purposes of your application, these can be unofficial. Please make sure to include transcripts from any post-secondary that you've taken. If you are offered admission, you will then be asked to provide official copies of your transcripts, and they'll also provide you instructions on how to do that at that time. Then lastly, we have the items that I just reviewed in the previous slide, which again are proof of English language proficiency, state of interest, optional supporting documents, and referees if requested. I know this is a lot of information. You do not need to memorize it. All these details and more are available on our Master of Design program website. So let's talk about deadlines. Master of Design has one intake yearly in May. For this upcoming May 2027. The international deadline is November 6, 2026, and the domestic deadline is January 22nd, 2027. Please note that we do rolling admissions. So rolling admissions means that we will be processing applications throughout the application cycle. There is no negative impact for applying later in the cycle, meaning it's not first come, first serve. All applications will be evaluated in the same way, no matter when in the cycle you apply. This process simply allows us to admit outstanding candidates throughout the cycle and allows students to receive our decision immediately instead of having to wait, and allowing them to plan their lives accordingly. So if you're ready to apply, you will be doing so through the College of Graduate Studies eVision portal. So the Master of Design program is facilitated by the Faculty of Creative and Critical Studies, as well as the School of Engineering. However, we work with the College of Graduate Studies on admissions and processes throughout the academic cycle. When you apply, you will likely get many communications from the College of Graduate Studies. You can apply directly to the program through the link as shown above, or through the link on our Master of Design webpage. There are also very clear instructions online if you require assistance. Now I want to touch very briefly on program fees. So if offered admission, you will pay a non-refundable deposit. It is either $500 or $1,000, depending on which type of applicant you are, domestic or international. This money will go directly to your tuition in the first term. The tuition fees are subject to annual changes, but right now the per term fee is about $10,000 per term for domestic and $18,000 per term for international. You can visit the Okanagan academic calendar for updates on tuition fees. Tuition is due at the beginning of every term, May, September, and January. And we recognize that graduate studies can be costly. We want to ensure that students are able to pursue further education if that's what they wish. So the Master of Design program offers a $5,000 entrance award to eligible MDes students. All applicants will be automatically considered and no separate application is required. To be eligible, you simply must be admitted into the MDes program as a full-time domestic or international student. You must also demonstrate academic excellence, creativity, and design potential. If granted, the award will be applied directly to first-term tuition, and instructions on how to accept it will be provided at the time. So moving on from financial support, I want to touch briefly on the resources available to you should you choose to join the MDes program and come to campus. As a reminder, all the resources I'm about to mention are linked in our resources tab. All right, so campus supports for students. Once admitted into the program, we have an in-house graduate advisor who can assist you with any questions you have about program progression, course registration, problem solving, and various other resources. They will be your first point of contact if you have a question and don't know where to go. Here at UBCO, we have a large graduate student community that is diverse and eclectic, with people from all backgrounds, interests, and points of view. We have graduate-only spaces for studying, socializing, clubs, peer networks, and events that are put on all year. If you join us next May, you will be invited into this community and get a chance to participate. If you are an international student, we have the Global Engagement Office that is dedicated to helping newcomers to Canada sort out life, including immigration documentation, health insurance information, employment information, and more. Please do not hesitate to reach out to them if you have any questions regarding any of those things. Here at UBCO, we also prioritize student wellness. When you arrive on campus, we have a number of supports available for your mental health and well-being. There is a student health clinic as well as counseling and mental health supports. We also have a disability resource center, the DRC, that can assist with academic accommodations. Be sure to check out our campus life and events calendar for any academic and social events taking place on campus. If you like being active, we have UBCO Recreation for sports clubs, fitness classes, or just to cheer on the UBCO Heat volleyball and basketball teams. At UBCO Okanagan, Our Pride programming is a peer-led program for queer identifying students and allies at UBC Okanagan. It focuses on building community, hosting events, and creating safe spaces on campus. This is just one of the many communities on campus. We have a number of student clubs and associations for any interest, so be sure to take a look around and reach out to those that interest you. And lastly here, I want to talk about housing. A big question that is often asked about housing. We have on-campus housing that you can apply for, as well as information about off-campus accommodation. UBC Okanagan has partnered with Places for Students to provide an online collection of local housing options for our students to make searching for properties easier. We recommend viewing these resources for more information and contacts well before your arrival. Okay, so that is all for the presentation portion of this event. We're now going to move into a Q&A. Just a reminder that you can upvote questions. So if you see a question you also want response to, please upvote it in the Q&A window, and we will try our best to answer all your questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to open the Q&A box. Okay. Okay. Can we defer? Someone is asking if their application is approved, but they can't start next May 2027. Can they defer it by a year and start, I'm assuming, in May 2028?
And the answer is yes. We have deferred students, particularly students who couldn't get visas. We've deferred it from this year to next year, so we have in the past. So yeah, that's definitely possible.
Awesome. Okay, let's see here. Oh yes, I have this question before, so maybe one of our faculty can answer this one. Is the program built for working professionals? What does the weekly time commitment actually look like? I'm guessing they're asking, can they work at the same time as doing this program?
Yeah, I can answer that one too. The typical time commitments. In the summer one, it's about well, we go from usually Monday to Thursday, and our class hours are usually between 9 to 3 p.m. Sometimes we will have like field trips. They line up on Fridays, oftentimes when people are more available to host. But yeah, generally the program hours are between like 9 to 3, Monday to Thursday, and then Friday is usually a flex day. So it is a full-time in-person program. We have students who are working, I think, in the evenings. We have somebody who works in the evenings, but yeah, it's not possible to work a full-time job while doing this program.
Thank you. Actually, maybe I'll pass this over to Clara or Shayna. I guess, how do you balance your commitments outside of this program, the work you have to do for the program and real life?
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly, the current schedule that we have offers like a great level of balance for students. Even in talking, one of our classmates, Kath, she works at a local winery, maybe 15 hours a week. And I think that even in talking to her, she has a great level of balance. Luckily, too, on with not having class some days on Fridays, it gives you the opportunity. A lot of our classmates go on hikes to explore the Okanagan, but I wouldn't stress over it too much.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of breathing space, and I think the pace is really nice. It gives you enough time to explore things outside of class time, whether it's doing more of your own like passion projects or yeah, like cast finding like a source of income. But yeah, I think that the balance is really great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna mark that. Let's see here. Okay, so how many students does the MDiS program accept each year? If I apply early, when should I expect to hear whether I've been admitted? So I don't believe that we have a hard cap.
Well,
And
um, uh, right. The program is obviously growing. There's a lot more interest this year than last year. Based on our experience, I wouldn't want a cohort size any greater than like 18. We have 11 this year, and I think 11 is like perfect. It's just really, really nice size for what we're trying to do. So I imagine like next year in year two, 18, and Myron, feel free to chime in. Somewhere like 15, 18 would be probably near a max. Um, so so
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what we're targeting. We're definitely not, we definitely don't want to just, we don't want to bring the cohort size like into the 30 range. That'd be too much. So obviously at some point it does become a lot more competitive when there's high demand and limited slots. So yeah, I think 15 to 18 would be ideal for year two. I don't know, Myron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree fully.
Yeah, yeah. So keeping the cohort size kind of intimate, small, it's definitely part of our kind of long-term vision for the program. And if you apply early, when to expect to hear? So yeah, I recognize the name. Meyer and I are on the admissions committee, pretty soon. I know some folks we opened in June. Some folks have applied in June, which was really early. So we are in the process of kind of starting the admissions gears going again. And so, yeah, probably by August, for the folks who applied in June and July, by August you're gonna hear back.
awesome. Thank you. Okay, I can answer this question. How many intakes of the program are we planning to have? And that is just one in May. Um, Currently, that is how the program is running. Doesn't want that. All right, let me see. Hmm. Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm curious to learn about the projects that students led and support. Are there any examples that we can view online or maybe that you can talk about right now? Clara or Shayna, or both of you?
Yeah. So currently we start our big project um iteration in September. We have to pitch our ideas. Before this, we have done a brand collateral project working on how to expand the MDes program and a couple other smaller projects, but our big project starts in September. Right now, nothing is too solidified. We have people working with wineries. We have a couple people working in higher education engagement. We have Shayna's working on a rock climbing project. We have people working on electronic recycling innovation. And what are the other ones, Shayna? I'm trying to think.
Well, like there's there's projects about like designing our future student space and the future student experience. Yeah, those projects as well. And I really like it that we get to pick the projects that we want to work on and what we want to learn from the people that we work with. Um, I like that we're given that sort of freedom. And I don't think, honestly, if you wanted to work on more, no one's going to stop you. So it's great because everyone's projects are so different and everyone has such a different way of leading the projects, and there's so much you can take away from that.
Yeah. So, you have the opportunity to pick who you want to work for. Like everyone will pitch their own ideas, and then you can bid on who you would like to support. And then the other thing is with our big project in September, we partner with a other company, like a community partner, we call it. But it can be like an international organization or someone more local, just to support and mentor you through that 8-month project.
Thank you so much. That's great. It's great getting your perspectives um, on for these types of questions. So I have a question here. It's a longer one, but I think it can apply to a lot of applicants. So this person comes from an engineering background with 7 years of experience. And they want to bridge the gap between being someone who executes a build and someone who can lead design decisions at a strategic and leadership level. And they're asking, is this program for them? I don't know who wants to answer that.
I guess I can share. I think you're exactly right in that work teaches you how to use tools, frameworks, and apply principles in practice. Because like it teaches you a lot about how to optimize for speed and accuracy, right? So, and I think coming here, the first few months of the program really weren't about learning new methods, but a lot of it was about unlearning assumptions that I had, right? Because I found myself reevaluating what I thought of as good design, um, why I make certain decisions, and what values my choices reflect through the work that I put out into the world. And I think to be someone who can lead design decisions at a strategic leadership level, these are all very important skills. And because like developing reflective practice is such a big part of this program, I ended up learning a lot about a lot more about myself and the person I was behind my practice and what I want to bring to the table at a higher level beyond the tangible things that I create. So that was really one of the biggest shifts for me, in realizing that knowing who you are as a designer, your values, and yeah, what you care about, what you pay attention to is one of the most important parts of the design process. And I mean, because every design decision gets filtered through the person making these decisions, right? And having clarity on this, I think, will help you think beyond an executional level and at a strategic and leadership level as well.
Thank you, Shayna. That's a great answer. All right. Okay. Oh, someone's asking if we have technical design courses as part of this program. Know if any of our faculty can answer that one.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how you would define technical, but there are lots of opportunities to create. So, like I mentioned before, there's safety training with our metal shop and wood shop, and there's lots of resources to use to create. You always have an option of electives as well if there's other kind of technical based courses that you're interested in. But otherwise, there is opportunity built into the program to work in the studio.
That's good. Thank you, Myron. All right. So I'm looking here. Okay, so someone is asking about working post-grad, and let me actually kind of rephrase this question for Clara and Shayna because the question's not quite clear, but I think what they're trying to ask is how do you think MDes is helping you move towards your career goals, and how has it changed the way you think about the future?
Okay, I'll go first. So yeah, I came fresh out of undergrad. Like I graduated in May, so it was a really tight turnaround. But I always knew since I was very young that I wanted to pursue a master's degree. And I think that this program is such a blessing in so many ways because you do have the opportunity to engage with people with so much career experience as a fresh undergrad. And I really enjoy the balance that Ken articulated because there are certain people that have been strapped down to the system for so many years. And then there's the fresh undergrads that like to stir everything up. But I think that this program has really given me a great balance of developing my leadership skills so that I can advance quicker once I get into the workspace, but also allowing me to integrate my research studies um, at the master's level.
I guess for me, how it makes me think about the future is um, what I want to bring into the teams that I create. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily change my mind about the industries that I want to go to, because I honestly haven't thought about that yet. Like, I think we still have time. So, but it makes me think about what I can bring to the future teams that I'm a part of. And I guess like even doing these, like being part of all these like small projects, it makes us think about what it means to be a good leader and how do you create spaces for your team members to shine and be their best them in the projects that you create. And I think, yeah, that's how I'm looking towards things moving forward.
Thank you both. I have a question here that is quite specific, but I've received similar ones. So let me just rephrase this. What kind of design does this program focus on? This person here is asking about physical and digital design because they're more focused on they're a software engineer. So I guess the question is, what types of design does this program focus on? Like how wide of a range is it, I guess?
I can answer this if no one else. I always like joke to my friends that I think I could literally, well, okay, I had a digital design background, but I knew that it was something that I didn't necessarily want to stick to going forward. And I always joke to my friends that I think I could literally walk into class tomorrow and be like, I want to design an X-ray system to solve cancer, and no one would flinch. Like, and it's so awesome because the program truly gives you the opportunity to focus on so many different types of design at once, or you're able to just stick to one type of design. But really, everyone is so accepting on new innovative types of design that you would like to work on in any form of industry.
Yeah, and I think like the focus is less on like the specific design tools, but how you use design as a method of thinking and approaching the different problems that you may find meaningful or want to solve. You learn how to, um, I guess, be clear about your blind spots and what you want to be focusing on, what are the trade-offs that you're making, and all of these are like thinking skills, right? More than just like the doing skills. I personally think like a lot of the doing skills are things that you can kind of learn by yourself because there are a lot of resources out there free on online, and honestly a lot of the people in my previous workplace, a lot of them are self-taught. And so the way in which you think and approach problems, and yeah, develop your own practice and your way of like looking at things, I think that's the most valuable thing you can want from learning in a design program. Yeah.
Thank you. Those are some great answers. Um, This one here, a more pragmatic question. If a student decides to take the MDes program, would they be able to pursue a career as a design engineer without having a traditional engineering background, like an undergrad? I don't know. That is
Maybe I can address that. I'm not sure which country you're talking about, but in Canada, the engineering profession is a regulated profession, which means in order to have an official title as engineer, you do have to have an undergrad from an accredited engineering program. So you wouldn't be able to work without that credential as an engineer in your title. But of course, you can be doing work that is technical and involves design, but you won't be able to stamp, you won't have a stamp and be able to say, hey, yeah, this is engineering approved in Canada. So just keep in mind, engineering is a regulated profession in Canada, at least. I'm not sure which country you might be speaking about, but yeah. So just want to make it clear, you won't be able to have the engineering title as a graduate from this program.
all right. So I see that we're over time. There's just one last question that I want to put to Clara and Shayna, a very quick one. What advice would you give to someone trying to decide whether to apply?
I would just apply. I know from speaking with my classmates, like first of all, like me, I'm definitely available to talk to like after you apply and get accepted if you have further questions. And I know Ken is also very open to giving time to clarify your thoughts or concerns about the program. But I mean, there's really no risk in applying.
I think like I think it's a great program. Honestly, I have loved like all of it so far, and I really think that the people behind the program, they are great and the best people that you can learn from. Because like honestly, when you're applying for a program, you're more choosing when you're choosing a program, what matter I mean, at least to me, were the people behind the program, right? More than the curriculum, because many design programs they kind of blur together after a while. But I guess like in the past few months in this program, I've just seen so much generosity, so much support and passion shared by the whole instructional team. And I think it's an environment that really allows everyone to grow and thrive as an individual. And I think that if that's something that's important to you, then this is a great space to do that. And yeah, I think you would receive so much. And like Myron made us pancakes on our first day. Like that's crazy. Just come for the pancakes, apply for the pancakes.
Thank you both. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to share my screen one more time so our participants can see our contact information. There we go. So thank you again to our amazing panel and you, our audience, for attending this event. We have 2 more Master of Design program virtual events, so be sure to register on our MDes website. We have Behind the Program, a conversation with MDes faculty on September 15th, where you can chat directly to MDes faculty and learn more about the program from those who built it. We also have Life as a Master of Design student on October 16th, where you will meet more current students. And this is a great opportunity to get advice and learn more about the student experience from those currently in it. Lastly, all the information we shared today about applying, admissions, resources is available on our MDes website. This recording will also be available on our YouTube channel up there over the next week. And if you want to connect with us, you can email us anytime. Thank you all again for attending, and we hope to see you at one of our other events or on campus in the future.